Hi there, I'm recording this video to show you a few of the most recent improvements of the Rhino plugin. So this is a hospital building real project. I can't give any more information about the project, but this is a good example that you can see there are several issues here. This is a problem because of the ducts, like you have this is stuff going on, small things because of wall thickness most likely. This model is coming from Revit, right? And then if I do PO check adjacency, if you're using an older version, it's called PO check geometry adjacency. And then add this a little bit, you can see there are like several places that there are issues like this, that things are inside each other, and this will be a problem. So how do you fix this? Before these new commands, you had to draw lines, and then be aligned to grid, do a little bit of move face, and usually for a model like this takes like 30 minutes, 45 minutes to fix it. Now let's see if we can bring that down to 15 minutes, including me talking over what I'm doing. So the first command is a command called PO-gen align grids. What this command does, it generates grids for you for different orientations. So by default, it goes in the vertical orientation, and now it generates several grids, but then it only keeps the top 20%. So you can see there are places like this one that it doesn't have a line. This one is not cut. So I'm going to keep more of them. I can just go here, scroll, and then keep more. I can change the grid size and I can change the merge distance. The grid size is the way the algorithm works is there is a grid underneath, and then it goes and it finds the ones that are most important, right? And tries to rate them based on the number of points that are intersecting with and will be affected. So this line here, for example, is the place that all of this will be aligned to, right? So I can get a quick sense. So in this case, the model is in the user feet, so half a feet is what I'm going with. And merge distance basically says if there are grids that are next to each other, merge them together. So you don't get like two grids that are very close to each other. So if the distance is less than 1, then it averages them together. So this quickly allows me to check, basically generate the vertical grids. I bake them. Then I reset the direction, this time to horizontal, to get a horizontal grid. So this is the horizontal grid. Quick look, it shows like it, because I'm keeping 90%. Of course, the more you keep, the longer it takes to run. And then you don't want to keep too many of them, because sometimes, like for example, let's say if I do 100%, it will keep these guys too. So I don't want this. I want this to be merged. So yeah, like I just want the ones that have more intersection to be kept. I can bake this too, and I can close it. I did not I can generate this, but I resolved this separately. I resolved this one also separately. This is a mess. I don't know how much the align can work, or just like we just move edges. That might be faster. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to save this. I am going to use the command PO align to grid. And I'm going to do the vertical and horizontal part in two different separate sections, mainly because I want to check the process. You can do it all together. So select geometry, I select all this. Probably I don't want these two to be included. Maybe I could just hide them. Let's see if there is any reason to keep them. Actually, for horizontal one, let's keep them because of this. But for vertical, I don't want to keep them. So this, I click on grids and select all the grids. If I go in perspective, you will see that there are planes here. I don't, because I don't want you to see the whole geometry with all the glazing for confidentiality reasons. So you just see everything in plan. I accept it. Then there is one input here for threshold. Threshold is basically says like, what is the threshold that you want to match? I put the threshold the same as the threshold that I used to generate the grids, which was 0.5, if I'm not mistaken, 0.5. There is another one for angle tolerance. So this is an important one. This is basically saying like, if you want this, so if this is half and this is half, do you want this to be aligned or not? So if you set it to -1, you're basically telling the tool that don't go for it, like don't do the angle difference. If you set it to a number, for example, if I say 5, it means only match if the angle, the difference of the angle between this line and the guideline is less than 5 degrees. So in this case, it's about like 40 degrees, so it won't match. If I set it to -1, then it ignores it. For now, I'm going to set it to -1, so it ignores all the angle differences because I don't see any major issues to happen. So just press the space once more. It says it checked 123 geometries, and then it takes a few seconds, and I should see the outcome. Okay, here we go. So you see all these vertical ones, or most of them are resolved. I still have an issue here that I can see. This came, but this didn't come, like I was missing one line. That's something I can fix later. This is also here because of the tolerance that I put. So if I had a higher tolerance, then I wouldn't see this. This one is 0.58, so it was a little bit more than 0.5. So maybe if I wanted to get all of this fixed, I could have run the command, but like with a higher number, maybe I can set the threshold to 1. So that's a better input. So let's rerun the command. Align to grid. Select geometries. Remove this too. Threshold to 1. For grid, select all this as the grid. Accept and go. Okay, here we go. Now you see all of those are now aligned, because which was less than 0.5, but they're between 0.5 and 1. It's your decision and like how you want to fix the model. If you want to keep them, if you think they're important, you can keep them. So I'm going to get rid of those lines, and then I'm going to rerun the command po align to grid, select geometries. This time I go for vertical ones. Do we want to keep this? I don't think so. So I select all the geometries. I select the horizontal grids. Maybe actually I should have not take this one because it might match. So there I have two ways. One is like when I selected the geometry, I could have not selected these rooms. The other one is to use the angle tolerance and set it to a number. So let's say I set it to 10 degrees. So now like I make sure this thing does, assuming that's not, so let me set it to 5, a smaller value. I just want to make sure I don't miss other opportunities if there is a line here that's like has a slight tilt to it. So okay, this is good. Now let's run this one. Okay, so let's see what we got here. The vertical ones, the horizontal ones are also fixed. These lines, you remember there was an issue here, that's fixed. We have a case here that didn't change because of the angle tolerance that I set, and this guys hasn't been touched. So okay, so far so good. And we already have a very good model, like much better than what we had before. Control S again, saving. So now for this edge here, let me see. So what I can do, I can draw these lines, or I can be lazy and do PO gen align to grid. Select this guy here, and then use this, and go from here, type near to get nearest, and this should generate the grids for me. See, like it generated these two grids here. I baked them close, so now I have two new lines here. Excuse me. So now I can use to align everything to this. One thing that I didn't do that I should have probably was to rebuild this geometry. So if there are any smaller edges, they get merged, so I don't end up with like small things moving around. Let me do that. So the command I'm going to run is called po rebuild rooms. I make sure merge coplanar faces is set to yes. Rebuild faces, I don't want to rebuild them. Reset boundary condition doesn't matter, and fix apertures and doors in this case doesn't matter. So just select everything and let it get rebuilt. So it goes through every room, it tries to clean up. If there are planar faces, it merges them together. And then once that's done, I can go ahead and run this command. So again, if you remember, the command was PO align to grid. Select geometries. I'm going to select these guys that are next to them. And grid, I'm going to select this. So this is very important here. Like if I set angle tolerance to 5, it's not going to do anything for me, right? Because the angle difference between the guideline and these lines are more than 5 degrees. So I set that to -1 to remove the angle tolerance thing, and then threshold, I should have done a measurement. 1 should be enough just to be on the safe side. I put it to 2. Here you go, fixed. This is also fixed. We see like a small issue here. This thing happened because, you know, like this is angled like that, but this is an easy fix. What I do move edge, right? I select the edge, I move it here. This is fixed now. So I can do the exact same thing on this end to fix this. This is a little bit of like everything is everywhere kind of situation. And then maybe we can use this line, or I should have, like, I can go to the real model and check what this was supposed to be. But let's say this is supposed to be this. So if it was supposed to be that, then I can do PO rebuild, PO align to grid. I'm a little bit concerned that this is going to move here, so these lines will get moved all over the place. It might make sense just to do move edge here. That might end up being faster, but let's see what happens. So I'm going to select all these geometries here. I'm going to select this line as the grid. And threshold of 2, I might even go higher here. Threshold 3, because the distance here is really high. Oh, it says it creates an invalid geometry. That's what I was worried about. This thing goes invalid if I do that. So I can press Ctrl Z, and that's one of the good things about the Rhino plugin. You can just Ctrl Z stuff when you make mistakes. So what I can do really, like, let's do one more Ctrl Z, let's see what we get. Okay. I can basically fix this the other way around, right? It looks like, honestly, like this room looks like this, and then this looks like the edge. So what I can do here, I'm going to draw a line here. And what I'm going to do to keep this thing clean, I'm going to make sure this planar is on, if planar wasn't on, and then I'm going to make sure everything is project by selecting project and snap. So I can work in 2D in a way, like 3D. So now I can do move edge. I select this edge from 2D, right? I move it here. This looks fine. Then I can do move edge again, move this from here to here. This looks fine. Let's see what's going on here. I can do move edge, move this one from here to here, right? And I have most of them fixed. Did I want to get them here? I don't remember. But you see the concepts that I got. Like, so let's do what I said I'm going to do. I thought, yay, here. I get the concept, but I just said that, so let's just do it. Thanks to Rhino, basically, these things are pretty quick. For this ones, for this particular one, I'm going to do move edge of this here to here, and then move this guy from here to here, and move, in this one, it's faster to do move face. So just move this face here to here. These are probably dots that are missing because there was no room inside. You can also fix that in Revit. So you can see this. So I have a few here, move another face across the 15 minutes target that I set for myself, but yes. So spend a lot of time explaining what is what. And this is also like we actually have a command for this that we're developing for remove small edges. But for this model, I find it just easier to just do it the way I'm doing it now. This might not be a planar line. Okay, here we go. So this is here, and this is here. What I do, I save this, and I just run another PO rebuild rooms to make sure all these things that I moved creates a smaller edges, everything gets merged. And just for the sake of it, I do PO check adjacency. There should be a few, right? Yeah, in the real world you can't like things, everything fixed right away, but let's see. Okay, this is not really a problem in, but I can just solve this by move edge too, right? If I want to, here to here. Let's see about this one. This is also for this crazy line here, depending on which one I think should meet which one. I can do this. Let's see here. Oh no, why? So yeah, let's move edge. Oh, and I don't say the command, so every time I basically select move edge and then move the edge. The Rhino plugin is smart enough to fix basically merge those edges together, so not to create a invalid geometry. So yeah, ZE for zoom extend, save, and you have a fixed model quickly from that starting model that was not simulatable. Thank you, and let us know if you have any questions. These commands exist because of the feedback that we get from users, because of the models that we get from users. So if you have a model that you have a challenge with, if you want a feature, just let us know. We can fix it for you as we did for this particular model with these particular commands. Thank you so much.